Hey guys, Steve Samblis here for Cinema Buzz, and we are at HelLA Horror in downtown LA, celebrating the Halloween movies. Currently produced by Malika Ka, John Carpenter. We're going to see the very first Halloween movie this evening, as well as two Rob Zombie's movies as well. And we're expecting a lot of interesting people on the red carpet tonight, but as you know with red carpets, you never know what you're going to get. So hang on tight, we'll see what's coming up. What is it about rock and roll, about metal and horror that goes so well together? What is it?
I think there's a level of just primitive, it's a very primitive instinct. It's a very moral universe, contrary to what a lot of people think. There's a very, very strong idea about the difference between good and evil and the ongoing war between good and evil.
Yes.
Metal and horror address those things better than any other form of music or any other genre of cinema.
Oh my God, it's a perfect cocktail, really.
It is.
I mean, think about this, Steve. I mean, when you come up with horror and rock and roll, it's like all your parents are like, oh, don't do that. Oh, everything's like frightening and afraid and like, right? So that, I would say that would be the element.
Man, I think it's if you look at some of these 70s classic horror films and you look at the soundtrack, I mean, it's just, there's someone was always smoking a little doobie in a van, listening to Foghat, and then they're dead. You're right. Wham! I mean,
that's it.
If you don't have a horror movie and you don't have some blood and Foghat, I mean, what do you got?
You're done.
So yeah, it's an awesome deal.
It's part of the thing.
Gosh, I guess there's just that primal drive in both of them.
Oh, yes.
You know, it's just like get your blood going, and you're like, yeah, let's rock out and let's gore out. I don't know.
Well, it's just the energy, and it's about the shock, feeling that rush, and I mean, it's fun.
It is.
It's all fun.
I like how your butt's touching.
Sons of Anarchy, I've been in the Crazies. John dies at the end.
Which, by the way, the Crazies.
Yeah.
Great movie, man.
Oh, what a great! You know what? It's very funny. When I went in for the audition, I forgot this was a George Romero film, and I'm just doing this stuff. And then when I walked out, I'm like, "Oh man, this is a George Romero remake." And then I got it. I'm like, "Oh my God!" Because I'm the biggest Romero fan in the world.
When you go to like a casting call like that,
sure.
Do you? I mean, you really want a Romero film, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Carpenter, Romero. You know, I mean, I got to work on John Dies at the End with, Don Coscarelli.
Yeah.
One of my heroes growing up. I mean, he doesn't like to hear. Oh my, Don, you're one of the reasons I got into acting because
that is
Phantasm.
so cool, though, right?
Yeah, it's great.
That's really cool.
Yeah, well, it puts a little pressure on you. When you book something, then you realize you're doing a remake of a Romero film.
No, that must have been just mind blowing.
Oh yeah, and then Robert Hall, who did the special effects and the makeup on it, got me submitted a picture for Fangoria. So. Man, I got the cover of Fangoria.
Come on, seriously?
I mean, that's like,
You're getting the coolest stuff.
That's the coolest stuff you can do,
Okay, guys, I'm here with Adam Weissman right now. Now, first of all, you were in one of the funniest movies ever, Biodome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's funny because you're not old enough to be in Biodome, so how's that?
Well, so I did Biodome when I was 8. I started acting when I was 6. It was my first feature film I'd ever done. Which was great. I got my start like doing an insurance commercial or something like that, and then playing Pauly Shore, and that was like, he's such an amazing person to meet.
It's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
So at the time, now it's so funny because if you asked me what I did when I was 8, for me to look back, I got no idea. But you have film evidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of cool. Now tell me about. So you've been acting for a long time.
Yes.
One of the things you're known for, of course, is Rob Zombie's Halloween. Mm-hmm. And what is it about horror movies that seem to define actors so much? We want to talk to you about Halloween more than anything else you've done. Why is that?
You know what? I think sensation, right? So we go through life and sometimes we don't feel anything. And we see a horror film and it makes us feel. It almost forces us to feel.
Oh, yeah.
So it's so easy to, like, if you're having a bad day, you're having a good day, and you just want to feel something, man, turn on a good horror film, check out for a little bit, and worry about the hot girl and whether or not she's going to die. because
Which she is going to, by the
she's
way.
going to die.
It's just a matter of when.
And maybe you'll see her boobs. Whatever.
Win. High five on the win of the boobs, you know.
Well, but now we're evolving too. We're actually getting to the point where it's not just about gratuity. It's not just about sex. It's about story. So we're getting these really cool films like Get Out and things like that that are pushing the envelope.
Absolutely, isn't that interesting?
It's a good time to be a horror fan.
It's a good time to be an actor, actually, right now too. Because
great time.
have you noticed that story has become more of a thing than it ever was before?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, actors started in plays when it was all about the story. It was all about the character, and now we're getting to the point that it's not just about one character. It's about an ensemble of characters. So a bunch of people put something together and make magic happen.
Yeah. So you were in Halloween 5.
Halloween 5.
Which is one of the most killer of those killer movies.
Agreed. Michael's out for blood. He's gonna get who he needs to get.
Tell me about your character in Halloween 5.
I play Billy Hill, who is Jamie's boyfriend,
Oh, that's right.
and I'm the boy that gets run over by the car,
Oh, man.
but I'm still alive.
You are
still
now. Anyhow.
Now and then.
Let me ask you a question. So, when did you start acting in, actually in movies, not theater, but actually in movies?
With Halloween, it was my first movie.
Really?
I was appearing on Broadway at the time in Les Miserables, and left that show to shoot Halloween. It was my first movie, and it's all been great since then.
Hey guys, I'm with Audrey Moore, who is in the Netflix original series Godless.
That's me.
So tell me about this cool thing. We just interviewed Jeff Daniels and all the
Yes.
other people. So tell me about this particular show.
It's such a great show. It's a Western. It's a real woman empowerment Western.
Nice.
It's about a town of women, and all of the town, all the men die before the show starts. So it's just all these women left to fend for themselves.
Wow.
And chaos ensues, and we fend for ourselves, and lots of smoke, lots of guns, lots of danger.
I like this. Do you remember that great chick cowboy movie with
Which
Drew
one?
Barrymore?
Yes.
Yes.
The Drew Barrymore one. Yeah.
How good was that?
So good. Yeah.
Do you kind of feel that happening with this? a
You know,
little bit?
this to me is a little bit of like a darker, slower, but with some humor for sure. Thomas Brody, Sangster, who's in Love Actually, and he did everything, Game of Thrones, and he's in it. He's got lots of fun stuff in it. Everybody is lots of humor, but also dark. It gets real dark in this, which is nice. It's a good binge-worthy Thanksgiving show.
Netflix is getting better and better.
They
aren't
are. I know. It's
Oh
so
my God.
good. When I got it, I was just so thrilled because it was such a great project.
That's a great network.
It is.
Isn't it cool we call it a network?
Yes, it is,
It's
isn't
so
it?
cool.
I love
love
business
it.
expanding.
I guess it's amazing.
Give us jobs, right?
You've done such the greatest movies ever. You've been in the Grindhouse movies, but Halloween what is it about Halloween that people just identify the actors with those movies for some reason? All the stuff you've done, people will think about you from Halloween. Why is that?
Well, I guess probably because it's the scariest day of the year.
Yes.
And if you have something to do with Halloween, then you're just part of that, that whole. It's such a wonderful culture that has gone on and on, and Malik keeps it alive. And I'm waiting for 3D to come along because
I know, right?
I think I could be in 3D.
You could cover 3D.
Yeah. So when I was able to be in Halloween, I'm really happy because I actually came on when Rob Zombie said to me, Sybil, we're already, we're full. It's totally cast.
Really?
And he said, but let me think about it. And then he came up with my idea. And I've never been one to have a big role. It's okay to have a cameo. And I was happy to play that nasty nurse.
I love you as an actor because whenever I know you're in a movie, whatever part you have, you make it iconic.
Thank you.
And that's a rare commodity for any actor to have. So
Thank
it's
you.
really nice talking to you. So why are you here tonight?
I'm here to, no 10 horses would have gotten me out of the house tonight, but when I was asked, Donna asked me to come, and of course also Malik asked me to come, and I've done the Scare Foundation a few times with Malcolm McDowell and with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, wonderful.
So, when it's for a good cause, then you can get me out of the house. Yeah. And I said, no, I'm not going to dress up. We dress up all year round. But I said, I'll go a little rock, okay? We're
You look
rocking
badass.
for muscular sclerosis as well, so I'm happy to be here tonight. And thank you for being a fan.
Oh,
Looks
how
like
can
you
I-
know my other movies
I
too,
do.
right?
Thank you so much. So I'm with my favorite actress ever from the most disturbing movie ever. Say your name.
Ashlyn Yenny.
So what is it like to be a part of movie history? Because The Human Centipede was one of those movies where people will talk about it for the rest of our lives.
True, very true. It was weird. I didn't expect it to become a pop culture phenomenon that it did. Nobody really did.
Really?
Yeah, no. It was like an independent European film, and then we made it, and it blew up. So
Everyone knows the movie.
everyone knows the movie. Yeah.
When was it that you realized what this movie was doing to the public?
I think when it got spoofed on South Park, I think that's when I got a lot of street cred for that one. So I was like, okay, that's the good one. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And why are you here tonight?
I got invited to support Scare Foundation, and so I'm here to support the MS Foundation.
Good.
Yeah.
It's a really good cause.
Yeah,
It's a cool
definitely.
event.
It's really, really
Listen,
exciting.
it was so nice meeting you. Thank you for freaking us all out.
Of course,
We
you're
appreciate
welcome.
that. So what are you doing here tonight?
Well, I'm here to support all the great causes that are out. I mean, they're all. It's excellent, and I think it's really interesting that we're here getting scared, but these causes are all about coming together and being you don't have to be scared. There's people that are supporting you. We're a team. We're working on this. We'll help prevent cruelty. We'll help you if you get scary news and things like that.
So you were in a really cool movie with Miles Teller. Thank you for your service.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me a little bit about that, because it's different than your American Sniper or something like that. It's quite a different story.
Yeah, so it's actually written by the same person who wrote American Sniper, Jason Hall. But it's really about war vets coming home and the difficulties they have reassimilating and getting back to their lives back home. And especially with this war, I think it's interesting because they're experiencing a lot more traumatic brain injury and PTSD, and we're just still figuring out what traumatic brain injury even really means. The NFL is still figuring out what it means, how it's going to change the game, and I think our care at home hasn't quite caught up to the injuries that they're being presented with, and a lot of times it's drug therapies, and I think this movie really shines a light on that, and I'm really proud to be a part of it.
This movie is very important because it really is a story that we haven't really told before. So how did you find out about the event tonight?
So I'm a supporter of Fur and Feather Animal Sanctuary, so I heard about it through them, and I was more than welcome to come out, dress up a little bit, and
I like it, dude.
show my support.
I saw a cigarette behind the ear.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
trying to go for a little bit of a greaser James Dean kind of look.
I love it. So tell me about being in one of the most iconic movie franchises ever in the history of the world.
Didn't feel like it at the time.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. Those of us who were making movies in the 80s, I mean, that was sort of the slasher world. And it was sort of, if you had to do that, then, that was the only way to get a movie. Yeah.
And it has the longest legs of most anything around,
I know.
right?
No one's more shocked than those of us who were making movies in the 80s, because all we wanted to do was make the cool movies of the 70s. And, we're going, all right, let's see what we can do, make a living.
You have been in everything.
Pretty much.
How is it that you've been, and horror is a big thing to you?
I mean, it's worked out that way, yeah.
Yeah. and so how does that happen, that you find this genre that loves you so much? Or did you love it first?
I think I've always been inherently a little bit creepy, and it was my only way into this world. So thank you.
I'm the water queen.
That's you. Okay, that is okay.
Yes.
Because she got the makeup on.
I mean, it's already completed. We already had a season finale, so you should be caught up.
Now, when did you find out what was going to happen to you?
When?
Yeah.
About 2 weeks before it happened.
Seriously?
Yes.
So right up to that point.
Kind of, yeah,
You're kind of going hey, I got this nice. Got next season.
Yes.
Gonna be
Well,
great
you just
again.
never know, though. You can't really assume that your life's going to last.
I didn't expect your.
I am here tonight to just have a good time, support a good cause, and meet some great people.
I saw the screening with Hatred. You're in the Hatred with Matt Malick's movie.
Indeed.
And obviously, you play one of the most iconic horror characters. But because you're so made up, people don't necessarily know it's you, but it is. But it's clear you.
Oh, you mean the Wishmaster?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you for that. Yeah. I did Wishmaster 1 and 2, and very proud, very happy with it, and. Those were, and especially the first one, they changed my life, and they sort of they brought me into the community of horror, sci-fi.
Yes.
And it's going on 20 years for the first edition now, so I couldn't be
amazing?
prouder or happier. So I know that we're Rock for MS tonight,
Yeah.
and I know that we're doing the Scare Foundation,
Sure.
of course,
Yeah.
of course, and then of course there's this, and I'm a big pet friendly dude,
Yeah.
So I support my pets. And I think it's very important that we do support that, and I think it's wonderful that Hollywood, doesn't forget those that are not as fortunate. So yeah, man.
Well, first of all, it comes with this incredible fan base already. So there's a tiny bit of pressure to deliver, but other than that, we had these new exciting characters that we got to breathe the life into. Yeah, because people love to kind of follow all of these different characters in their lives, and so to do something new, it was great. We had a good time.
Well, I was very lucky in this lifetime. I was in a school of one.
Is that right?
Where I sat with John Carpenter for 8 years when he did his thing.
Yeah.
So I got to watch the master. It's like sitting with a Rembrandt or something. The guy did his thing. Yeah, right? Yeah. And as a composer for other movies, the director kind of gives you I want a this or a that. But now you got the guy who actually wrote the movie. He shot the movie. He's done the editing. He knows every cut already. So for him to just sit down and go was kind of how it happened. But the interesting part is, we use a lot of synthesizers and technology.
Yeah.
He didn't want to know anything about it.
He did?
No. I tried to explain to him how this or that. I don't want to know about it. That's your job.
Amazing.